Hello, how are you doing today? I hope that you are doing well. So today in biology, I wanted us to go through this past paper question from the year 2018. So this question is on the alimentary canal. After attempting this past paper question on the alimentary canal, then I'll make a video, hopefully tomorrow, on the digestive system. So the question says, figure 2.0 shows the alimentary canal of a human being. So we are able to see there is structure H, structure J, structure K, structure M, and structure L. So from the question on A says identify, right, okay. So the question says identify the parts labeled H and J. So we know to say our structure H is the esophagus and structure J is the stomach. Okay, so structure H, we say it's the esophagus, and this structure J is the stomach. Then moving on, the question says explain the functions of the parts labeled K and L in digestion. So we have part K and part L. So our part L is the large intestine and part K is our pancreas. Now, what is the function of these parts? Starting with K. So K being our pancreas, we know the function of the pancreas. The pancreas helps to produce pancreatic juice, okay? That is during the process of digestion. So this pancreatic juice contains three major enzymes. There is pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase, and pancreatic trypsin. I don't know if I should write down those terms. So we have pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, and pancreatic trypsin. So all those are the three major enzymes that the pancreas produces. So we have trypsin. Apart from trypsin, we also have lipase. Okay, apart from lipase, we also have amylase, and we need to understand what the function of all these three major enzymes, the pancreatic trypsin, pancreatic lipase, and pancreatic amylase. Okay, so just going a bit into detail. So this pancreatic trypsin helps to act on the proteins, right? And this pancreatic lipase helps to act on the lipids, okay, converting them from lipids or from fatty acids, from lipids to three fatty acids and a glycerol molecule. That is the function of this enzyme lipase. It helps to act on fats, right? Converting them from the fats or the lipids to fatty acids and glycerol. Then we have pancreatic amylase. So this pancreatic amylase is the one which helps to work on starch, converting it into maltose. So basically, those are the three enzymes that are quite produced in the pancreas. This same part K. So we said part K helps to produce amylase, or part K, which is the pancreas, helps to produce pancreatic juice, which helps in digestion, right? Apart from that one, then we go to part L. We know part L is our large intestines. So when food is undigested in the body, it is usually stored here in the large intestines. So the large intestines are responsible in the reabsorption of water as well as the undigested food products. So it is here in the large intestines where that food which you do not digest is stored, and it mixes with bile, and then it comes out through the anus as your fecal matter. So basically, that's the function. So part K produces pancreatic juice. Part L helps in the storage of undigested food substances, and as well as in the reabsorption of water. So you're done with the functions of those parts labeled K and L. Then C says label on figure 2.0 the structure where 1. Bile is stored with the letter X. So when you talk about bile, bile is the one that is responsible in the emulsification of fats. So emulsification is simply breaking down the large fat globules into simpler ones. So imagine a large fat, right? And that large fat is converted into a simpler one. So all that is done by this which we call bile. So bile is helping us to convert the large fat globules into simpler ones. So where is the bile stored? So they want us to label with the letter X. So when it comes to you labeling where bile is stored here in the liver, right? In the liver, there is this structure, the tiny white structure that you are seeing. We call this the gallbladder. This is where bile is stored. So you can actually label with your pencil, you bring your arrow there, and then you put what? Your letter X. Or if you want just here, you put your letter X. So you are labeling where bile is stored. And then moving on to part 2. Part 2 is saying where hydrochloric acid is produced with the letter Y. When we talk about hydrochloric acid, we know that hydrochloric acid is produced in the stomach. We know in the stomach, the juice that is produced in the stomach is what we call gastric juice. And this gastric juice contains mucus, it contains trypsin, it contains pepsin, and it also contains renin and hydrochloric acid. That is what is found in this gastric juice, which is produced in the stomach. The mucus helps to lubricate the walls of the stomach. The hydrochloric acid is helping to convert the inactive pepsinogen to pepsin, which is an enzyme. So basically all that is happening. For now, it's not necessary. We'll look at the food topic in when we talk about the alimentary canal and the digestive system. But what you just need to know about where hydrochloric acid is produced with the letter Y, it means you can come with your pencil there, you put letter Y, or you bring with an arrow here and you label as letter Y, this particular part. So moving on, the other question says, state one metabolic function of part labeled M. When we come to part labeled M, we know part labeled M is our liver. So they are asking, what is the metabolic function of the liver? The liver usually has it has about several metabolic functions. You can pick out from any of those. Number one, the liver helps in the detoxification of alcohols. Okay, so to detoxify something is to make a thing which is poisonous to become less poisonous. All that important function is done by the liver. Apart from detoxification, we also have deamination of amino acids. We also have the production of the red blood cells. All that is done by the liver. So as the production of red blood cells is being done, it is being done by the structure which is part M, the liver. So one function you can pick from any of those. So for now, we can say it helps to detoxify alcohols. That is a metabolic function. Then let's move on. The question says, describe two ailments which can result when structure M is not functioning normally. So they want you to describe two ailments that can result when your structure M, which was the liver, is not functioning normally. So what are those ailments or diseases or conditions? So number one, we have hepatitis. Apart from hepatitis, we also have cirrhosis. All right, OSIS. All right, these are the two ailments that are that occur when our liver is not functioning normally. The last one is hepatomegaly. Okay, hepatomegaly, like that. Hepatomegaly. Oops. All right, so you can actually mention any of the two. They just wanted you to state two, so you can either put hepatitis and cirrhosis, or you can put cirrhosis and hepatomegaly, any of those two. All those are the conditions that affect the liver or that arises when the liver is not working normally. So this is all that you need to know about the alimentary canal. The next thing will be us making a video on the digestive system. Be blessed.